Hey y'all, it's Celine, and I am doing something that it just occurred to me I should be taking you along for. I am making for the first time tomatoes and okra. I buy this Margaret Holmes tomato and okra. I love this stuff. My husband loves this stuff. We actually open it right out of the can and eat it cold rather than heat it up. And we just like it. We just really like it. And this stuff is pricey. It's now over $1.50. It might even be $1.80 something a can. I can't remember, but it's incredibly expensive. And so I just decided this year I'm making my own. So I am going to be canning this up. I took tomatoes from my garden that I froze. I always core them, throw them in Walmart bags, and throw them in my freezer. And then when I pull them out the night before. I pulled them out last night, put them in a big bowl, and let them thaw overnight. And then this morning, literally, you just take a tomato like this and the skin slides right off once it's been frozen and most of the water comes out. So see how thick these are? They just came to a simmer, so they have not been cooking down. And I'm going to let these cook for a few minutes. I had a bag of okra from last year cut up in the freezer that I found the other day, and now I can't find it again. So I had a bag of store-bought sliced okra. So that's what's in there. I'm disappointed, but I guess I'll have to make another batch when that other one shows up. So I threw a bag of okra in. It was probably a 10 or 12 ounce. I doubt that they come in a pound, probably 12 ounce. And tomatoes, okra. This is a 6-quart, 7-quart. I think it's a 6-quart pot. And I had a quart bag, kind of flattened, so it wasn't a full quart, of shredded zucchini from last year that I threw in here, and it'll just melt away. I put a teaspoon of chopped garlic. I put a small onion, and then I added this Goya adobo. It's very salty, so you got to be careful how much you add, but man, it's flavorful. I added my my house seasoning to it, and all that is I put in a spice grinder a bottle of, usually, well, almost always, it's Aldi steak seasoning and some onion and garlic powder. And I put a little sugar, not a lot, but just enough to kind of give it the sweetness that stewed tomatoes have. And I put some dehydrated celery, not very much. I didn't have a lot left. And I do have a lot of freeze-dried, but that's not what I wanted in here. Freeze-dried tends to become spongy. And so, and then I added some celery leaf because I had plenty of that freeze-dried. So, yeah, that's all I added. That's all I've done. I'm going to let it simmer for a little while and let these tomatoes cook down some. They still have that real raw flavor to them. And once they cook up, then I'm going to put them in pint jars. I am going to add a little citric acid to them just to make sure, so that I can water bath them. And I'll get back to you when that takes place. Okay, so I'm back. I made a change and I just wanted to show you. This is sometimes what we buy, but we prefer the tomatoes, okra, and corn. And a lot of times we can't find it, so we just add corn. So I decided to go ahead and add corn. We usually add a whole can to a can of this. But I got to thinking, what if corn is not plentiful and I feel a little concerned to use a can of corn along with this when the time comes? So I decided to go ahead and add the corn now. So I added 3 cans of corn to this. That looks good to me. We just like that crunch because this is kind of soupy and, you know, there's no bite to it at all because it's, you know, it's all really soft. So I added the corn so that we get that little crunch. Now I am going to water bath this. So, you know, you canning police may not agree with me, but I am adding citric acid to the jars. So I feel comfortable doing that. If you do not feel comfortable doing that, don't do it. But it's something I feel comfortable doing. I don't think that's rebel canning, but maybe it is. And if it is, so be it. I'm a rebel. So anyway, that's what I did there. I am going to get these jarred up. Hot tomatoes, hot jars, hot canner. So cold tomatoes, cold jar, cold canner. That's just how it works. Also wanted to show you yesterday I canned some sweet pickle relish. I had a big bowl of tomatoes. I pulled up my cucumbers yesterday. They were spent. And I had a big bowl of cucumbers in the fridge. By the way, if you will keep your cucumbers in water in the refrigerator, they'll last for like a week that way or so. And I had this great big bowl that I just kept adding to. And there were a couple of them at the bottom that had been there a good week that were getting a little bit waterlogged, but for the most part, you couldn't tell that they'd been sitting in water. They were normal. So just a couple. And I think I might have cut the ends off of those before I put them in the water. So I think that was probably it. But anyway, so I did sweet pickle relish yesterday. I also am trying something new because I want to know if it works or not. I cultured some pickle relish to see how that worked. And basically I used whey to, actually I didn't have any whey. I take that back. I used, I'm brain dead. What's it called? Water kefir. I had some, just my water kefir grains in water in the refrigerator. That's how I store them, and I used some of that water off the grains, which you can substitute as whey. Anyway, I did that, and I've got 2 more jars of pickles fermenting. These were the smaller cucumbers. The bigger ones I sliced up and made refrigerator pickles. And guys, something every day. Do something every day. I'm getting about that many tomatoes every day or two, so I am throwing them in the freezer to process that so that, you know, like I said, you freeze them, the skins slip off when they thaw, and the water all comes out, so you don't have to cook them down so much. So anyway, that's where we're at. I'm going to jar these up, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, so this gave me exactly 10 pints, not even a tablespoon more or a tablespoon less. It was perfect. So I am going to get these in my canner. That's exactly what I was hoping for because my Nesco canners hold 5 pints each. They're small batch electric canners. So I'm going to get these in the canners, and you know what? I have to check and see how long I need to process them for. I will let you know that, and then we'll be back when they're done. And there we are, 10 beautiful pints of tomatoes, okra, and corn. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out with me in my homestead kitchen today. I'll see you on the next video. Love you guys. Mwah!